The laboratory hummed with a quiet intensity that spoke of years of hard work and countless failed attempts. Dr. Jae-Wong Park stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the holographic display that flickered with complex mathematical equations and quantum diagrams. Outside the reinforced windows, the sprawling research campus of the Global Transportation Research Center stretched out like a promise of future possibilities. Jae-Wang's fingers moved slowly, tracing the intricate patterns of quantum entanglement that danced across the screen. Most people would see nothing but a confusing mess of lines and numbers. To him, it was a language of potential, a code waiting to be cracked. Another simulation. Hai-Jin Kim asked, walking into the lab with 2 steaming cups of coffee. She knew her colleague well enough to read his body language. When Jae-Wong was this still, something was brewing. He nodded, not taking his eyes off the display. "This is different," Jae-Wong said softly. His voice carried a hint of something between excitement and disbelief. "The mathematical models are showing something impossible." Hai-Jin put down the coffee and moved closer. She had been part of this team for 7 years, working alongside Jae-Wong through countless disappointments and near misses. They had become more than colleagues. They were partners in a quest that most of their peers considered a waste of time and resources. The Global Transportation Research Center was not a typical scientific institution. Founded after humanity's first successful deep space missions, it was created to solve the biggest problem of interstellar travel: distance. Traditional methods of space transportation were painfully slow. Wormhole technology was unreliable. Hyperspace jumps were dangerous and consumed massive amounts of energy. Their team had been tasked with finding a completely new approach. Most scientists had given up, but not Jae-Wong and Hai-Jin. "Look at these quantum interaction patterns," Jae-Wong said, zooming in on a particular section of the holographic model. "They're not just interacting. They're duplicating instantaneously." Hai-Jin leaned in. Her background in advanced quantum mechanics was extensive, but what she was seeing defied everything she understood about particle behavior. "That's not possible," she whispered, but it was happening right in front of them. The simulation showed a quantum particle existing in multiple locations simultaneously, not just as a probability, but as a concrete, measurable reality. It wasn't just teleportation. It was something far more profound, a complete reimagining of how matter could exist and move through space. Jae-Wang's hand moved, adjusting the parameters. The holographic model shifted, revealing more impossible interactions. Particles weren't just moving. They were folding through space, creating pathways that shouldn't exist according to any known physical law. "We've been looking at transportation wrong," Jae-Wong said, his voice gaining strength. "We've been trying to move through space, but what if we could make space move around us?" Hai-Jin felt a chill run down her spine. She recognized this moment. It was the kind of breakthrough that happened once in a generation, the kind of discovery that could change everything. Their coffee grew cold. The lab remained silent except for the soft hum of computers and the occasional beep of equipment. Outside, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the research center. Neither Jae-Wong nor Hai-Jin noticed. They were lost in a world of quantum possibilities, standing on the edge of a discovery that would soon shake the foundations of human understanding about transportation, space, and the very nature of reality itself. The United Earth Council chamber was not like any meeting room in human history. Its walls shimmered with adaptive materials that could change color and texture. Massive windows showed the bustling skyline of New Geneva, Earth's primary diplomatic hub. But today, no one was looking outside. Hundreds of beings from different planets sat in carefully designed seats. Each chair was custom-made to support the unique physical needs of various alien species. Some were floating, some were sitting, some were connected to special life support systems. Dr. Jae-Wong Park stood at the center of the massive circular room. Around him, a perfect circle of alien representatives watched with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Humans had always been considered the newcomers in the galactic community. Young, unpredictable, and somewhat crude. Today, everything would change. A small metallic cube sat on a raised platform. It looked simple, almost boring. Its surface was a dull gray, about the size of a human hand. Nothing about it suggested it would soon change everything humans understood about transportation. Jin Kim stood beside a complex control panel, her fingers hovering over a series of holographic switches. She wore a simple white research uniform, her hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. Every movement was precise, calculated. The room had gone completely silent. Even the breathing machines of the more exotic alien species seemed to pause. Krell, the Vortian representative, watched with particular intensity. His crystalline body reflected the soft light of the chamber, creating tiny rainbows that danced across the floor. Vortians were known for their advanced transportation technologies. They had developed methods of moving through space that took centuries to perfect. And now these humans claimed they had something better. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jay Wang began, his voice calm and clear. "What you are about to see will change everything we know about movement and space." He pressed a small button on his wrist device. The metallic cube began to shimmer, not in the way a hologram might flicker, but in a way that suggested the cube was becoming uncertain, its edges blurred. Its surface seemed to fold in on itself. Then something impossible happened. The cube vanished. But it didn't just disappear. In the same instant, 3 identical cubes appeared in different parts of the massive chamber. One materialized near the Lyran delegation. Another appeared close to the Zork representatives. The third sat perfectly still beside the Earth delegation's platform. Complete silence. Krell's crystalline form actually trembled. His species had developed jump technologies that could move objects across light years. But this was something else entirely. "Impossible," Krell whispered. Jay Wang allowed himself a small smile. "Not impossible," he said. "Just unexpected." Jin began explaining the technical details, how the cube hadn't just been moved. It had been simultaneously existing in multiple locations, how the quantum entanglement allowed for a complete spatial redistribution that didn't follow any known physical laws. Most of the alien representatives didn't understand the technical explanation, but they understood what they had seen. Something had changed. The quantum fold wasn't just a new technology. It was a complete reimagining of how movement and space could work. And humanity had just introduced it to the galaxy. News traveled faster than light in the galactic communication networks. Within hours of the United Earth Council demonstration, every major civilization knew about the human quantum fold technology. The galactic central communication hub buzzed with activity. Hundreds of species processed the information through their unique communication systems. Some used holographic networks. Some used quantum entanglement signals. Some used methods humans couldn't even understand. But the message was the same everywhere. Humans had done something impossible. The Zork Confederacy was the first to react officially. Their communication network lit up with emergency signals. Zork scientists began analyzing every piece of information they could find about the quantum fold. Lyra, the Zork diplomatic representative, sat in her circular office on the central Zork homeworld. Her tentacles moved across multiple communication panels, sending urgent messages to different departments. The walls of her office were made of living crystal that changed colors based on her emotional state. Right now, they were a deep, troubled purple. "This changes everything," she spoke into her primary communication device. The Vortian Quantum Research Council held an emergency meeting. Krell, who had witnessed the demonstration, presented a detailed report. The council chamber was a massive spherical room where representatives from different scientific branches gathered. "The humans have discovered a transportation method that breaks all known physical laws," Krell explained. His crystalline body projected holographic data streams that showed the quantum fold demonstration. The oldest member of the council, a being named Zora, watched carefully. Her experience spanned thousands of years and hundreds of technological revolutions. She had seen civilizations rise and fall based on technological breakthroughs. "This is not just a new technology," Zora said slowly. "This is a fundamental shift in how we understand movement and space." Other alien civilizations had different reactions. The Lyran Collective saw opportunity. They were known for their scientific curiosity and quick adaptation. Within hours of the demonstration, Lyran research teams began requesting detailed information about the quantum fold. The Quantum Mechanics Division of the Galactic Science Council began an emergency review. Thousands of scientists from different species started analyzing the limited information available about the human technology. Some were excited. Some were terrified. On Earth, Dr. Jae-Wong Park and Hai-Jin Kim had no idea how their simple demonstration was changing the entire galactic conversation. They were back in their laboratory, continuing their research, making small adjustments to their quantum models. "We need more tests," Jae-Wong said, looking at a complex holographic display. "We need to understand the full potential of what we've discovered." Hai-Jin nodded. She was checking the quantum stabilization parameters, making sure their initial success wasn't just a lucky accident. Meanwhile, in the diplomatic circles, tensions began to rise. The Zork Confederacy sent an official communication to Earth. Their message was clear and direct. The quantum fold technology represented a potential threat to established galactic transportation systems. This technology cannot be allowed to develop further without strict international, or rather, interstellar, oversight, the message stated. But humans, as always, had other plans. The United Earth Council understood the potential of their discovery. They saw it not just as a technological breakthrough, but as a tool for potential galactic cooperation. Dr. Park was called to prepare a comprehensive report. The diplomatic teams were mobilizing. The scientific community was buzzing with excitement and speculation. One thing was certain: nothing would be the same again. The simple demonstration of a quantum folding cube had just changed the course of galactic history. The Global Transportation Research Center became a fortress of scientific activity. Researchers worked around the clock, pushing the boundaries of what seemed possible. Dr. Jae-Wong Park stood in the main testing chamber. A large transparent barrier separated the research team from the experimental zone. Multiple sensors and recording devices covered every inch of the room. "We're ready for the first living organism test," Hai-Jin Kim announced. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking slightly. Min-Seo Park, no relation to Jae-Wong, volunteered to be the first test subject. He was a young research assistant, brave and curious. His family had been notified. Legal documents were signed. Medical teams were on standby. The quantum fold device looked different now. No longer a simple metallic cube, it had evolved into a complex machine with multiple quantum stabilization rings. Blue energy pulsed between the rings, creating a strange humming sound that made the air feel thick and heavy. "Transmission coordinates confirmed," a computer voice announced. The destination was a research station 500 light-years away, a distance that would take traditional spacecraft years to travel. Min-Seo wore a special suit designed to monitor every possible biological reaction. Sensors tracked his heart rate, brain activity, cellular structure, and quantum alignment. Multiple backup systems were in place to stop the process if anything went wrong. "Are you ready?" Jae-Wong asked. Min-Seo nodded. "Let's make history," he said with a smile. The machine started to activate. Strange patterns of light began to wrap around Min-Seo's body. It didn't look like teleportation. It looked more like the space around him was folding. For a moment, Min-Seo seemed to exist in multiple places at once. His body became translucent, then solid, then slightly blurred. The researchers watched in complete silence. Then, suddenly, he was gone. Immediate communication came from the distant research station. "Subject has arrived," the voice reported. "Vital signs normal. No cellular disruption detected." The research team erupted in cheers. But the celebration was short-lived. The Galactic Science Council was watching every move. Alien civilizations monitored the human progress with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Further tests revealed even more incredible possibilities. The quantum fold didn't just move objects or living beings. It could transport complex machinery without any structural damage. It could move information faster than any known communication method. More volunteers came forward for testing. Each test expanded their understanding of the technology. The implications were massive. Traditional transportation methods suddenly looked primitive. Spacecraft design would need complete redesign. Communication networks would be revolutionized. "We're not just moving through space," Jay Wang explained during a press conference. "We're changing how space itself works." Hai Jin continued the technical explanation. The quantum fold didn't use energy in the traditional sense. It didn't create wormholes. It didn't bend space-time like previous theories suggested. Instead, it somehow made space fold around the object being transported. No energy consumption, no time dilation, no spatial distortion. It seemed too good to be true. The research continued. Each test revealed new mysteries. Each breakthrough raised more questions. Min Seo became something of a celebrity. The first human to be transported using quantum fold technology. Interviews, scientific papers, documentaries. He was everywhere. But the real story was just beginning. The Galactic Science Council began requesting more information. Alien civilizations wanted to understand how humans had achieved what they considered impossible. Jia Huang and his team knew they were standing at the edge of something extraordinary, a technology that could change everything humans and aliens understood about movement, space, and the very nature of existence. The quantum fold was more than a transportation method. It was a window into a completely new understanding of the universe. The Galactic Council's emergency session descended into chaos. Alien species realized humans had inadvertently created a technology that could render most existing transportation methods obsolete. The Vortian representative argued for suppression. "Humans cannot be allowed to develop this further," Krell proclaimed. "It threatens the entire current galactic infrastructure." But humans, as always, were unpredictable. The United Earth Diplomatic Center was a massive building in New Geneva. Its walls could change color and shape. Large windows showed the busy city outside. Inside, tension filled every room. Dr. Jae-Hwang Park stood before the Earth's top diplomatic team. He was no longer just a scientist. Now he was also a key player in the most important diplomatic challenge humanity had ever faced. "We will share the technology," Jae-Hwang explained. His voice was calm. His hands were steady. The diplomatic team looked worried. Sharing such a powerful technology could be dangerous, but not sharing it could be even worse. Alien representatives from different civilizations arrived. Some came in special ships. Some arrived through holographic communication. Each wanted to understand the quantum fold technology. Krill, the Vortian representative, arrived first. His crystalline body reflected the room's light. He looked angry. "This technology is too dangerous," Krell said. "Humans cannot be trusted with such power." Lyra from the Zork Confederacy had a different approach. She wanted to understand the technology. Her tentacles moved carefully as she reviewed the technical documents. The diplomatic discussions were complex. Each alien civilization had different concerns. The Vortians worried about transportation systems. Their entire economy was built on moving things across space. The quantum fold could destroy their entire business model. The Zork Confederacy saw both danger and opportunity. They wanted to control the technology. They wanted to understand how it worked. The Lyran Collective was the most curious. They loved new scientific discoveries. They wanted to learn everything about the quantum fold. Jahuang's proposal was simple. Humanity would share the basic research. They would work with other civilizations. They would create a joint research team. "This is not a weapon," Jae-Wang explained. "This is a tool for cooperation." But not everyone believed him. Hai Jin Kim stood beside him. She was the technical expert. She could explain the complicated science in ways others could understand. "The quantum fold is about connection," she said. "It's about bringing civilizations closer together." The negotiations continued for days. Sometimes they were calm. Sometimes they were heated. Holographic displays showed complex technical diagrams. Translation systems worked overtime. Earth's diplomatic team was careful. They knew the technology was powerful. They knew it could change everything. Some alien representatives wanted to stop the research completely. Some wanted to control it. Some wanted to steal it. But humans had another plan. We will create an international, no, an interstellar research team, Jay Wong proposed. We will work together. We will learn together. The idea was radical. No civilization had ever suggested such open cooperation before. Krell was the most difficult. His crystalline body seemed to vibrate with anger. Humans are too young, he said, too unpredictable. But others were listening. The Lyran representative seemed interested. The Zork diplomatic team was taking careful notes. Days of discussions turned into weeks. Technical teams analyzed every detail of the quantum fold technology. Security protocols were created. Research guidelines were developed. Slowly, carefully, a plan began to take shape. Humanity would not control the technology alone, but they would not be shut down either. A new era of galactic cooperation was beginning, and it all started with a simple quantum transportation method that no one thought was possible. The universe was about to change, and humans were leading the way. The Lyran research station floated in deep space. It was a massive structure, built like a giant wheel spinning slowly to create artificial gravity. Inside, scientists from different civilizations worked together for the first time in galactic history. Arrow, the chief Lyran scientist, looked at the quantum fold research data. His multiple eyes moved carefully across the holographic displays. Behind him, human and alien researchers worked side by side. Dr. Hai-Jin Kim stood at a complex research station. She was explaining the quantum entanglement principles to a group of alien scientists. Her hands moved quickly, drawing complex diagrams in the air. Most civilizations tried to move through space, Hai-Jin explained. We found a way to make space move around us. The Lyran scientists were fascinated. They had always been the most curious civilization in the galaxy. While others were afraid of new technologies, the Lyrans wanted to understand them. Arrow approached Hai-Jin. Your approach is unique, he said. His translation device made his words sound smooth and calm. The research station was a marvel of cooperation. Vortian quantum engineers worked next to human physicists. Zork communication experts shared data with Lyran technical specialists. For the first time, multiple civilizations were truly working together. Dr. Jae-Hwan Park arrived with additional research materials. He carried a small device that contained years of quantum research. The device could transfer massive amounts of information in seconds. We're not just sharing technology, Jae-Hwan told Arrow. We're sharing a new way of thinking. The Lyran collective saw something special in a quantum fold. They understood that this was more than a transportation method. It was a completely new way of understanding space and movement. Security was tight. Every researcher was carefully checked. Information was shared carefully. But the excitement was real. The first practical tests began. Small objects were transported across impossible distances. Living organisms were moved without any damage. Communication systems were redesigned. Krell, the Vortian representative, was not happy. He watched the research through secure communication channels. His crystalline body vibrated with worry. This is too dangerous, Krell kept saying, but fewer and fewer people were listening to him. The Zork Confederacy sent their best scientists. They wanted to understand the technology. They wanted to be part of the discovery. Lyra, the Zork diplomatic expert, explained their position. We cannot be left behind, she told the research team. We must understand this technology. The research station became a symbol of hope. Different civilizations working together, sharing knowledge, breaking old barriers. Hai-Jin discovered new quantum principles almost every day. The quantum fold was more than a transportation method. It was a window into understanding the universe in a completely new way. Arrow was especially excited. "We are writing a new chapter of galactic history," he told his team. The human researchers were surprised by how quickly other civilizations wanted to collaborate. They had expected resistance. Instead, they found curiosity. Small breakthroughs happened daily. A Vortian scientist discovered a new way to stabilize quantum fields. A human researcher found a method to reduce energy consumption. The research station became a beacon of hope. It showed what could happen when civilizations worked together instead of fighting. Jiahuang looked at the diverse team of researchers. Humans, Lyrans, Zorks, and others worked together. They spoke different languages. They came from different worlds, but they shared one goal: understanding the quantum fold. "We're not just changing transportation," Jiahuang told Arrow. "We're changing how civilizations work together." The galaxy was watching. The first truly collaborative research project in galactic history was happening. And it all started with a simple idea from a group of human scientists who dared to think differently. The universe would never be the same again. The emergency medical station orbited a distant planet. Its white walls gleamed under artificial lighting. Medical equipment hummed with advanced technology. A Zork diplomatic transport had been attacked. Multiple high-ranking Zork officials were critically injured. Traditional medical evacuation would take days. By then, most would die. Dr. Hai Jin Kim received the emergency transmission. The research team at the Lyran research station watched carefully. This was their chance to prove the quantum fold's true potential. "We can help," Jiahuang said quietly. The Zork medical team was skeptical. They had seen many technologies fail before. Their communication channels were filled with worry and doubt. Lyra, the Zork diplomatic expert, listened carefully to the proposed plan. The quantum fold had never been used for a full medical evacuation. This was a massive risk. "We have no other choice," Lyra decided. The preparation was quick. Special medical stabilization fields were created. The quantum fold devices were carefully calibrated. Every sensor was checked and double-checked. One of the injured was a high-ranking Zork council member. His tentacles were damaged. His life support systems were failing. Traditional medical transport would take too long. Jiahuang input the coordinates. The medical team watched nervously. Alien and human researchers stood side by side. The quantum fold device activated. Strange energy patterns wrapped around the medical bed. The injured Zork official seemed to shimmer. For a moment, he existed in multiple places at once. Then, suddenly, he was gone. Immediate communication came from the emergency medical station. "Patient transported." A medical voice reported. "Vital signs stable. No cellular damage detected." The room erupted in celebration. Arrow, the Lyran chief scientist, looked amazed. "We just saved a life," he said. His multiple eyes reflected pure wonder. The medical evacuation changed everything. It was more than a technological demonstration. It was a rescue that showed the true potential of the quantum fold. News spread quickly across the galaxy. The Zork Confederacy began to see the technology differently. What was once a threat now looked like a potential lifesaver. More medical emergencies were discussed. The quantum fold could reach places no traditional medical transport could go. It could save lives across impossible distances. Krell, the Vortian representative, watched the reports carefully. His crystalline body seemed to soften. The technology he had feared might actually be useful. The research team continued working. They understood this was more than a scientific breakthrough. This was a moment that could change how civilizations work together. Hai Jin analyzed the medical transport data. Every detail was carefully recorded. Every sensor reading was examined. They were learning something new with each test. Jiahuang prepared the next phase of research. "We're not just moving objects," he told the team. "We're creating connections between civilizations." The Zork medical team sent detailed reports. The patient had survived without any cellular damage. The transport was faster than any medical evacuation in galactic history. Lyra contacted the research team directly. "You may have just changed everything," she said. The Lyran research station became a center of hope. Different civilizations worked together. They shared information. They solved problems. The quantum fold was proving to be more than a transportation method. It was a tool for saving lives, a method of bringing civilizations closer together. As the news spread, more species became interested. More research teams wanted to collaborate. The fear was slowly turning into excitement. Humanity had done something unexpected. They had created a technology that could save lives across impossible distances. The galaxy was watching. And the galaxy was changing. 5 years had passed since the first quantum fold demonstration. The galaxy looked different now. The Interstellar Cooperation Center floated in deep space. It was a massive structure built by multiple civilizations. Humans, Lyrans, Orcs, and others worked together. The building itself was a symbol of how much had changed. Dr. Jae-Wang Park sat in the main conference room. He was no longer just a scientist. He was now a key diplomatic advisor. Beside him, Hai-Jin Kim reviewed the latest research data. "We've changed everything," Arrow, the Lyran chief scientist, said. His multiple eyes looked at the holographic displays showing quantum fold achievements. The technology had transformed multiple aspects of galactic life. Medical evacuations. Patients could now be transported across impossible distances in seconds. Lives were being saved every day. Scientific research. Researchers could now study distant planets and phenomena in ways never possible before. Remote exploration became instant. Diplomatic communication. Meetings that once took months could now happen instantly. Different civilizations could connect quickly and easily. Economic systems. Transportation and communication costs dropped dramatically. Trade became faster and more efficient. Krell, the Vortian representative who once feared the technology, now sat as a key supporter. His crystalline body reflected the room's soft lighting. "We were wrong," Krell admitted. "This technology has brought civilizations together." The Zork Confederacy had become one of the biggest supporters of the quantum fold. Lyra, their diplomatic expert, now worked closely with human researchers. Unexpected discoveries happened almost daily. Scientists found new ways to use the technology. Some were practical. Some were purely scientific. A young researcher discovered they could use quantum fold principles to study quantum entanglement in ways never possible before. Another team found applications in medical imaging. The research station that once seemed controversial was now a symbol of hope. Different civilizations worked together. They shared knowledge. They solved problems. Humanity had done something unexpected. They had created a technology that brought civilizations closer together. "We're not just moving through space," Jae-Wang told the assembled researchers. "We're creating connections." The galaxy was changing. Old conflicts were becoming less important. Civilizations that once fought now worked together. Economic systems transformed. Transportation became almost free. Communication happened instantly. Remote exploration became simple. Some challenges remained. The technology was still new. There were still many things to learn. But the direction was clear. Civilizations were becoming more connected. Knowledge was being shared faster than ever before. Hai-Jin presented the latest research findings. New quantum principles were being discovered. The quantum fold was more than a transportation method. It was a window into understanding the universe. Arrow looked at the human and alien researchers working together. "We are writing a new chapter of galactic history," he said. The Interstellar Cooperation Center was proof of how much had changed. Humans, who were once seen as newcomers, were now key partners in galactic development. Jae-Wang remembered the first demonstration. A simple metallic cube that no one believed would work. Now, that cube had changed everything. The galaxy was no longer the same. Civilizations that once feared each other now worked together. Knowledge was shared, problems were solved, and it all started with a simple idea, a way to make space move around objects, a technology that connected civilizations. Humans had done something incredible. They had changed the universe. And this was just the beginning.